What's going on, everybody? Payneblade back here again from server 1 representing IC. Guys, we're going to be doing part 3 now of the all type arena teams, and today is none other than the D team, which is most likely going to be considered the most underrated team, but we're going to show you guys how to build one, how to succeed with one, and what units you want to use in order to make this work. Alright, now everybody knows D units are the tanks of the game. Essentially, they have the most defense, they have the highest guard rate, have the highest guard damage rate, and essentially they're the hardest to kill. So usually they're there to buff your teams and debuff the opponents, just to keep you alive longer and soak in damage. But in this case, you can actually use D teams to do quite a bit of damage as well too. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that, and we're going to go ahead and focus on setting up a D team to do enough nuking, but also enough buffs and debuffs to make sure this works in arena. All right. So again, key thing I want to point out: you guys saw the T team and the A team. Speed is still king. No matter how much you do team building, no matter how good your team is, no matter how strong your units are, if you're not going faster than your opponent and doing jutsus and co-ops before them, you're gonna fail. So make sure, guys, first and foremost, focus on speed. You know my video is already out for that. I've done it 100 times already and talked about it 100 times. So check out the how to get fast video and the original speed guide if you need reference in terms of what speed is all about and how to use it. All right, so without further ado, guys, let's jump into the actual D team that I've set up for you. So here we go. We're gonna look at a few different units here and what they do. Okay, so first and foremost, I've got this setup here. So RoKage here is gonna be my main nuke for my force team. He does a heal to himself. He does defense up with a skill 2 for all allies for 2 turns, I believe. He does a nuke on all A units, so he does extra damage to A units. Plus, he has an insane damage rate reduction rate. So he is pretty much a selfish character minus the skill 2, but he does bring a lot of survivability for this team. Now on the other hand, Danzo is the complete opposite. He brings a ton of buffs and debuffs to the opponents. He brings a ton of buffs for you in terms of damage increase and a ton of debuffs to the opponent to make sure you hit them a little harder with D units. Another great addition here would have been Daru for him, including with him, which would have helped the damage output here, but I don't have him built up quite yet, but he's a fantastic unit and we'll talk about him shortly. I have Mike Guy here, who's another D unit that is somewhat of a nuke. He has a burn, plus he has all of the proper essential cell traits in order to keep you alive, so he gives additional buffs to these guys to stay up there. So this here is meant to outlast the opponent and pretty much chip away at their health, but at the same time, RoKage will keep himself healed while Danzo does all the debuffs for you, and then Guy just gives extra buffs to keep the cell alive. So that's kind of their goal. The Spirit team, on the other hand, is my control team. Okay, so Sejmo Jiraiya is actually built there for crit suppression on a skill 2. He has a burn and a stun, so that's going to give Sasori the ability to do his status effects as well as his debuffs, right? And he also has the ability to increase guard rate if there's 6 or less allies remaining in the team. So he's there pretty much as an emergency kit, but also he's incredibly tough to kill because he does heal himself through his trait. So fantastic unit, probably one of the best D units still out in the game. So highly recommend if you're running a heavy D team, you want to use him as well. Sasori, pretty self-explanatory. AoE power creep, has a ton of status effects, has status effect rate up and status effect rate down. Works in tandem with SR Heavy for his status effect up as well, so they work together really well. And also has attack down on the opponent with his AoE. So super good unit, still one of the top tier units in the game. If you have him, build him, guys. He's going to do so much work for you on any team. Doesn't have to be an all D team, but he is going to be the main star in this team with Danzo and RoKage in terms of damage. All right, and then SR Heavy, of course, doesn't matter what I have him at. He's there to pretty much give status effect up and guard rate up, and his guard rate will stack with Jiraiya's as well as Gaara's. So a key element there for these teams to survive is to have a ton of guard rate, so you can block damage coming in and dish out damage, and again chip away at your opponent. And also the fact that he has a status rate up helps all the stuns here, and he has a stun himself. So a great unit to have on any D team, almost essential nowadays, to be quite honest with you. All right, now I have Blossom down here, not for the heals, although it does help. She does bring a lot of utility, such as tribe gauge up, and you know the only other 2 tribe gauges are Choji and herself, as well as Jiraiya. So Choji is a great addition to this team if you're looking to build your tribe gauge quicker, especially if you've built them up over time, which I'll be doing on the Painful Experience anyways, so you'll see it there. But she and Choji work really well together. She alone is a fantastic unit, so, and she's great on all content, not just PvE. She's also decent for PvP as well too. Orochimaru, I've got him there for the silence purposes. He also has attack down and confuse. Now the silence is great because it actually stops jutsus from being able to be cast, as well as any co-ops or any type of tribe. So a great unit, really tanky, and part of the standing, of course. So as you can see, I've only got these guys at 74, so this tank team is a little lackluster in power, but what they lack in power they bring in with utility, right? And then of course Gaara is still one of the best guard rate tanks in the game. Has fallen off a lot, but if you're looking for survivability, none other will give you better survivability than Gaara. So that is the team, guys, that I built together for you. Now let's go back into the usual. We'll talk about a couple other units you can use to replace some of these guys if you're looking to see some success with this kind of team. Server 6, again, I'm going to just give them a quick shout out because this is the kind of thing they run. They would be your best bet to talk about what the best D units are. But let's have a quick look here. So this is what I'm currently running. A is a great unit if you're looking for a stun. I would have added him. He's also the fastest unit in the game still, I believe, in terms of his speed. But he unfortunately gives A units bonuses, so I didn't use him for this purpose alone, but normally I would have used him over other ones. Jugo is a great unit for survivability. He heals as a tank, which is rare, and I'm not talking about healing himself, which he does as well. He heals other members with low HP, so he's a really good survivor. If you're looking for more guard rate to stack, Asama's amazing. Hidan is a really good nuke. He also brings status effect suppression, which means you get stunned less and less status effects will hit you. But the only problem with him is he's kind of like A, where he helps A units a lot as well. So I kind of kept him out of this. Plus I don't have him built anyways, right? So get to another mini Gaara. So if you're looking for, again, more buffs to add on to him, he's a great addition to this team. And he hits like a wet noodle. I make fun of it all the time, but he still does bring in way too much utility to ignore. So great unit. Kisame, it would be amazing again if it wasn't if PvP wasn't AI controlled, rather was manual, because his chakra down and chakra up is fantastic to use. So if you have him, guys, I mean, he's not bad for a full D team, I will say that. Yamato, amazing buffs, one of the best and easiest ones to level up to 7 stars through the radio summons, because the fragments drop, so he's a really good unit. Shino is actually not bad with his chakra down, but same scenario that applies to Kisame, where it's kind of uncontrolled, but normally he'd be really good. Choji I already mentioned, a great unit for tribe gauge up, especially for new players, and he takes a lot of damage, guys. He soaks in a lot of damage, so really good. One of the stars of D units are going to be the Daryu Lightning Tattoo one. Great unit there, almost essential for all D units teams, so I would definitely build him up. These two aren't bad. She's got a lot of good buffs and debuffs, so, and she does have a heal as well too. For a D unit, she's probably one of the better healers out there for sure, so you definitely could take advantage of her. Naruto Kage is really bad, the SR version, so ignore him. And then lastly, the brand new Orochimaru, because he's a power creep and he has insane buffs. If you're building him, you'll love him. He'll do a lot for your D team. So as you can see here, a majority of the D units are pretty good for this. I've talked about most of them, and the rest of them are already on my team. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at an actual arena match and see how this team did. Now, I did the usual fighting luck. Unfortunately, I can't really fight anybody else because of point purposes, right? So here we go. Let's take a quick look and see how this team did against a hybrid team again, right? A hybrid team being T, D, and A units. And I'm going to show you guys why this team is successful. So let's quickly talk about it. So this first cell here I already talked to you guys about. This is my control and nuke team, or a control team, sorry. So here, Jiraiya is going to do crit suppression on the opponent, which means my guard rate right there, right? So he almost took like no damage. So on the flip side, when he comes back around, he's going to heal himself back up to almost full. Here you go. You're going to see defense up by Naruto Kage, and then you're going to see defense or damage rate reduction on Sasuke. And the thing with Guy is he's a little weak on my team. If he had a little more power, but look at the damage I'm taking. Almost nothing. Almost like it's literally nothing for damage. Like, that's the thing with D units. They may not hit that hard, but they take so much damage and come back and just laugh at you practically. It's a joke to them. So running a heavy D team is not a bad thing to do sometimes, guys. Here we go. So there's a guard rate, there's a guard rate, and there's a guard rate. Every single one of those were guarded, by the way. Every single one. So I'm telling you now, guys, if you want to peck at your opponents and you have a healer on this team will be very hard to kill, I promise you. So here we go. We're going to do some jutsus here. Now again, there's going to be 2 status effects up here, so hopefully we'll get a stun. No stun there, okay, but we got burn. So here Sasori will take advantage of that burn and do all of his debuffs. You should see that on all the opponents right now. There you go, all the debuffs that went down. And then lastly, hopefully there's a stun here. Perfect, there's a stun, and that's kind of what they're here for, guys. They're here to disturb the enemy, to mess up rotation, not necessarily just kill them, right? This should not be killing anybody. Yeah, look at that, like almost no damage. So again, it's funny watching a team like this fight hybrid teams, because like no matter what you throw at them, it just does nothing in terms of damage. So let's just see what happens here. Now the only one really that's going to hurt me here is going to be SMN, because he does do additional damage to D units. But the thing is, on server 1 and many other servers, most people don't expect to run a full D team, so you're going to see less and less T units being used that do that kind of nuking, right? So there's Heavy gone. Danzo's special here. See, SMN doesn't take that much damage, but he did have damage rate reduction down from having that done to him. And there's a burn, so that'll at least peck at him. Now again, he's gonna hit hard. He most likely will, unless I guard rate it, which is gonna be very possible. There you go. pure guard rate, 63k. Are you kidding me right now? Like this is hilarious, honestly. Like, as long as this match is gonna be, which is, it is a long match, because as you can see here, I'm turn 6 right now, and the opponent still has a lot of allies left. Normally, I'd be done this. Like, here we go. Here's a tribe gauge up, which is great, and the heals. Obviously, that puts everybody back up to full health almost. Again, it's funny watching this happen, but it's crazy to show you how long this match is, but how little damage I take. Look at that. Kill Kakashi, no problem. Sasori on the other side will do a little bit more on me. There we go. Still not bad. Look at that. Almost full health still. Again, it's wild, guys. So like everything I've showed you to this point, every A team, T team, and D team has been successful, and there's a reason why, right? It's team synergy, it's understanding how to build the teams, and at the same time, it's also the fact that you can outspeed your opponent and properly jutsu them and set it up where you're taking almost no damage because of things like guard rate, guard damage rate, right? So Kieran should do a little bit of damage here. Okay, perfect. Got a stun on me. And then Gara here will build his guard rate up and guard damage up. So, as you can see here, this is taking a while, and it's going to continue taking a while. I'm going to probably finish off 2 people here if I can hit I'm going to do co-op, obviously. Unfortunately, co-op is bad timing here due to the AI. Normally, see, if you were controlling that, you would have either done a tribe, which makes more sense in PvP if you were to build control, or you'd wait till that stun wore off, and then you would do your co-op. But AI is just silly. It does silly things. Okay, so they're going to try to hit RoKage, or SMN, sorry. So we're going to speed this up, guys, just because it's taking a little bit of time. But again, as you can see here, I'm again, not taking almost any damage. It's crazy. So that stun messed up my rotation. So that's a little bit of an issue there. So hopefully he does, yeah, there we go. I was going to say, hopefully he does Sakura to give a heal as well as tribe gauge up again. There we go. Let's see who this is the AI being crazy though. Let's see what they choose here. I might actually end up going for 20 turns and not kill the opponent. But that's kind of been the whole thing about D teams, right? You're not necessarily killing your opponent. Again, you're pecking at them, making sure you survive them and outdo them in terms of how much health you have left. And then by 20 turns, when you skip, you can see that you've actually, the opponent has health left, but you've got way more. So in this case, I probably will finish it. But I'm just explaining what the purpose of a D team is. So like, you may not have as powerful D units as I do, but if your D team can survive, you're always going to outlive your opponent and win those matches anyways. There's another stun. Okay, so there you go. Orochimaru died there. And that's okay, because I have Sasori going next. I don't think anybody has a status effect, but that's fine. We should be able to kill off, hopefully, Sasori in this turn. Yep, there we go. And then a good stun, and that messes things up even more now for the opponent. And really the biggest concern now, guys, is Kieran on the opponent's side and SMN because of the amount of damage they do. But now that I have a co-op, I should be able to kill hopefully at least one unit here. And I mean, look how many turns we're in. I think we're in like turn 14 or 15. It's getting pretty tight. Okay, Obito's dead. Oh, okay, so Kieran most likely will die. Perfect. There we go. And look at that, 9,000. 9,000 damage. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's crazy. Okay, so using Guy here. So two people left. So turn 14 now. So yeah, I mean, like, it's lasting a while. But as you can see here, success-wise, one unit down, and it's still going. Still kicking at it. Alright, so then we're going to get a heal off here, build our tribe gauge. This will put us ahead in tribes. There we go. And she's a great unit, guys, honestly. If you guys have Blossom, build her. Like, she'll help you so much in Abyss and all the other content, except for FG. Like, these units don't do well in FG. That's kind of the problem with going heavy D units. You're kind of putting yourself back in terms of some events. Like FG and ATV, they're going to do really, really poorly. But in Abyss and stuff, they're going to dominate. So it's not the worst idea to have a full D team, but it's also, you also have to focus on A units and T units for other big events like PvE events that matter, right? So that's where all your rewards are coming from. And there we go, we're almost done here. So that took 16 turns, I think, to complete this. So as you can see here, not the flashiest, not the biggest numbers, but man, survivability is crazy. There you go. So lost one unit, pretty much kept everyone else alive. Alright guys, so there's all three of those teams. That's what you guys asked for. Now, I have been still getting requests to do an all Sharingan team and other ones, so I will still go ahead and probably do that just to kind of show you guys unique things. Right now, there is a quiet time in Tribes, right? There's really not a lot going on, so I'm trying to come up with content that's entertaining. I might be doing also top free-to-play units again, just now that we have these power creep units, to give you guys an idea of what you should be aiming for and what you should be leveling and what you should be focusing on for fragments. So anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this. This has been fun. I've done all three of them now, and that's pretty much the end of it. If there's any other content you guys are looking for, let me know in the comment section. I'll do my best to provide you. You guys saw my biggest project coming up, which is essentially leveling up all of the tribes and awakening them so I can showcase those to you. That will be coming up very soon. I'll be doing a tribe hopefully a week or 2 tribes a week, just to kind of show you guys slowly what they look like and how much damage they do and where they're useful. And we'll start doing that on the max awakened ones. Alright, anyways guys, this is Payne. Enjoy your Monday, be safe out there, and have a great day.